Well, it's the second morning. I'm literally 3 or 4 minutes outside of the hostel, which, bear in mind, is only half a mile out of York city centre, and this is my path. Lovely start to the morning. I'm on from here to Ripon, following the Way of the Roses, which I have done before in that direction just once a couple of years ago, so some idea on that one. Pretty easy to follow anyway. And then I got to find my way to the Yorkshire Dale cycleway, so that's all going to be new ground for me. So it's a beautiful morning, looking forward to it. Well, I dropped a right clanger this morning, didn't I? The Way of the Roses follows the NCN 65, National Cycle Network Route 65 for part of the way. Well, I kept following that and missed the turn off when the two separated. The result of that is I went some 20 miles or so out of my way in the wrong direction, well 10 miles or so in the wrong direction, and then had to double bike and pick up the Way of the Roses again. I did that fine, and I've been through Ripon. I've not done any filming because I've been trying to make up time basically. As you can see, the weather's changed a bit for the worse. I've done just over 60 miles. According to Google Maps I had 63 miles to do today. Well, I reckon I've got at least another 20. It'll be interesting to see how the battery holds out as well, because this is a lot hillier and I have been using it more, particularly because I thought I'd only got 63 miles to do. So, I was going to take it a bit easier today, and it's turned out to be anything but. So we'll see how I get on as the day progresses. Well, I should be there now, but as I said, I think I'm about 20 miles away still, and it is absolutely howling down. This rain is horrendous. So I'm trying to get a bit of shelter under this tree. Wish me luck. So filming that last clip was a mistake. You could see it was very wet. I had a torrential rain for half an hour or so, really heavy downpour, and it was a mistake to get the camera out. It did get rather wet, as you could see, and it also affected the microphone. So as a result, the sound quality on the next few minutes of clips is not fantastic, but I have included them because there's some useful information there for anyone interested in how the battery's performing and such on the e-bike. All part of the learning curve for making these films, and we'll obviously do better next time. Well, I don't know if you can see that, but that's the battery gone, doing
82.95 miles, and I've climbed 1,156 metres, so about 3,500 feet climbing, and the battery's just gone. Doing eco probably 95% of the time, but yeah, I have upped it, eco plus and even normal on some of the hills, because it's, yeah, I've had some hills to tackle. And so now, away from here, so not far to go. Hopefully there's no monster hills, but as you can see, the sun is shining now and battling into shorts. It's glorious. It's a great end to the day, and it just means I've got an heavy bike now. So here's 86.96 miles for this service as it happens without battery. Enjoyed the day, it's been brilliant. Looking forward to getting a shower, getting dried out, and making my way down to a pub for a nice meal. This morning I thought I'd just show the room in the youth hostel. Some of you may not be aware of what you get for your money, what a dorm room is in a youth hostel. This room's like 6, as you can see. I felt very lucky yesterday in that I was the only person here. Not in the hostel, but in this room, so I got a room to myself. Best thing about this room has to be that. The view from the back is pretty special. £13 a night, bit less with a discount. Good facilities, just had a great breakfast, full English, cereal, much tea as you want. Bang on, set me up for the day. So that's all good. So today I'm going to have a very touristy day. I'm following the Dales cycleway most of the way. There are a few detours, not about mileage or anything else today, not about battery management. I'm going to be able to jump up into normal, even sport if I need it on the hills. I'm only 15 miles away from the next youth hostel at Kettlewell, but I'll be going quite a bit further than that. My first stop is up to a train station at Glasgow, and then back into Hawes. It's market day today, so I'll have a look at that, and then pick up the Dale cycleway and follow that round to Kettlewell. More of a sightseeing day today, more of a getting the best out of the bike, enjoying the hills, and just having some fun while the sun's shining. The story of this dog is that it was actually accepted as a valid protester to try and keep this line open. This is the famous Settle to Carlisle railway line. The dog's owner was a very keen protester to keep this open, but the real story to the dog is that the dog and its owner went walking in the Welsh mountains and were lost. The owner's body was found 11 weeks later, and the dog was still by his side and just barely alive, but alive. So it stayed with him for 11 weeks. How it lived is something else, but yeah, Russet, what a loyal dog. climb that was. I've just used 10% of my battery climbing, I don't know, maybe a mile at the most out of Askrigg up to the top here. A lot of it is 25% gradient. It would have been a definite pusher had I not been on this bike today, but look what you're rewarded with. The Yorkshire Dales, God's own country. Once again, it's very beautiful. What a difference those hills make. Day 3 and it's that time again, run out of battery. Done 51.19 miles, climbed 1,749 metres, and that's what makes the difference, obviously that climbing, and a lot of that has been super steep. I've had the assist up to 125% on the steeper sections of that. Not sure how far I've got to get to Kettlewell because I've no reception, so I can't check on Google Maps or whatever. I don't think it's far. I think it's a similar distance to yesterday, about 4 miles. I hope it's no further anyway. But it's beautiful out here. It's a lovely day for pushing a bike, because on this section I'm certainly going to have to push, much too weight to carry up there. Beautiful area. Just if anybody's thinking about doing this Dale cycleway, it is tough. It's tough on an e-bike. I would only consider it on a regular bike if you're super fit or a masochist or both. Well, just push the bike up most of that hill since the battery ran out, as I thought I might have to. Did manage to ride a bit of the way, but it's pretty steep. But well worth it, because this is what you get when you get to the top. Get much finer than that. Looks like I've got a good descent now. Still got no signal, so I've no idea how far I've got to go. So just carry on.